Welcome to the season preview for the Mandarins. The Mandarins are from Sacramento, California. They are two-time Class A60 champions, five-time Division III champions, and one-time Division II champion. They have made 8 straight DCI World Championship semifinals appearances, last season placing 10th with an 88.15, their best finish in the history of the Corps. Last year also marked their inaugural finals appearance. So now moving into this season, the Mandarins look to back up what they had going for them last season. They bring back most, if not all, of the design team. Definitely retaining members, probably better than ever. Definitely members are still leaving to go to maybe Blue Devils, Vanguard, Blue Knights, whoever else, but definitely probably a good rate of bringing members back this year, probably better than ever for the Mandarins. They'll start their season off June 21st with the Mid-Cal Champions Showcase in Clovis, California. June 22nd, they'll be at the Flow Marching Streamed event, DCI West in Stanford, California. Look forward to that show every year because it's kind of the first look at all of these corps with full uniform, with props on the football field, not just videos that are kind of leaked on YouTube, but definitely kind of just the first time we get to see these corps at their beginning stages. June 23rd, then, they have the Moonlight Classic in Sacramento. Take off June 24th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Come back June 28th with corps at the Crest San Diego and Vista, California. Then they'll be at another Flow Marching Streamed event, June 29th, Drum Corps at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. June 30th, they wrap up their June tour with Western Corps Connection in San Bernardino. Then they'll take the first few days of July off, of course, do July 4th parades around California, but then come back onto the DCI circuit July 5th with the DCI Capital Classic Corps Show in Sacramento. This is an all-open class corps show except for the Mandarins. I believe Pacific Crest also attends this show now. That's kind of their last goodbye to California as they go out to the Midwest. They go out to the Midwest between July 6th, 7th, and 8th. First show there, July 9th, DCI Morningside in Sioux City, Iowa. July 10th, they wrap up this first kind of third of the tour with Celebration and Brass in Ankeny, Iowa, a new show to the Flow Marching streaming schedule this year. So now moving into this next part of the schedule, the second and third kind of, this is where the progress is made with the corps every year between the beginning of the middle of July, so around July 13th, that second Saturday, second or third, and then all the way through a few days past the DCI Southwestern Championship. Really, this is where the progress is made and where it's kind of make or break. Either you have the great show you need on the field, or you've kind of slid back, and that's definitely something the Mandarins will be looking at this year, because before, it's kind of been they're looking forward on everyone else. Now they're kind of looking back, and I say everyone else is in those bubble corps. There's always the bubble corps every year. Everybody from around 11th to 17th really could be considered in that. And the Mandarins 2 years ago, 2017, they brought on the design team, at least some of the members of the design team from the academy. After they had made finals for the first time, Ike Jackson leading that team, and they shot right up from 16th or 17th range, where they had always really been before, other than when they were in the lower divisions, to 13th, and they almost unseated Madison for that spot. Then last year, they shoot up to 10th by season's end. Really a big shock, because for the Mandarins to beat Phantom, that was kind of unheard of. If you say that 2 or 3 years ago, it's like, are you crazy? But you're not crazy, because that's how much a design team and the members that they bring with that design team, that's how much that means to the Corps. So really, if you just look at this part of the schedule, going from Illinois, Kansas, Texas, tour, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, working your way over to the DCI Southeastern Championship then in Atlanta. So that then brings us to this last third, July 27th, the DCI Southeastern Championship in Atlanta. They'll work their way up the Eastern Seaboard. July 29th, drums across the Tri-State in Charleston, West Virginia. July 30th, Drum Corps and American Tradition, that is, in Annapolis, Maryland. Begin August up in Lawrence, Massachusetts with the CYO Nationals. August 3rd, that's the Saturday of DCI East, that's their night to perform in Allentown. Work their way out to Indianapolis. August 4th, drums along the waterfront in Buffalo, New York. And August 5th, Tour of Champions Akron in Akron, Ohio. And then DCI World Championships, August 8th through the 10th in Indianapolis. So now the lead staff for the Mandarins. Going through this list, this is really the team that got them into finals. Not only getting them into finals, but also by staying there, because obviously if other corps won, then they'd probably make a push. But I think most corps really have a good design team under attack. If by these individuals staying with the corps, it really pushes members to say, where before they marched the Mandarins as kind of a lead-in to maybe Blue Devils or Vanguard, now it's kind of like, well, we can climb up with the Mandarins, maybe, I don't know, top 6. I don't think that's where they get, but we can keep climbing and be a part of something very special, or we can go contend for the championship, and it kind of puts the members in the situation where with the Mandarins before, they never really had that kind of push from the behind the scenes. So going down the list, Jim Tabucci, president and CEO of the Mandarins. J.W. Kester, he's the corps director for the corps this season. He's a former director of the Santa Clara Vanguard, Santa Clara Vanguard Cadets, and Phantom Regiment. He's a 2018 Santa Clara Vanguard Hall of Fame members, and he continues to work with many high school programs around the country. Ike Jackson, he's the program director. He's the one that wrote Drum Corps Bride for the Academy in 2016. 2017 writes Inside the Ink for Mandarins. 2018 comes back with another brilliant show, gets them into finals, 10th place. And then this year comes back with something that probably will maybe even top that. We'll talk about that in a minute. Mario Ramirez, he's the creative director and color guard caption manager for the Mandarins. He's the founder of Diamante Winter Guard. He's the director for that group and the Ayala High School Scholastic World Color Guard program. He's performed with many groups in the marching arts. Key pull and brass arranger for the corps. He's always, I say always in the last few years, he's been with the Mandarins writing for them and many high school programs around the country. Darren Van Derpel, percussion and battery arranger and the percussion caption manager. He's marched with Pacific Crest, RCC Indoor, among other groups, and he's been an active percussion instructor in the Southern California area, that is, since 2005. Brian Nungary, he is the front ensemble arranger for the Mandarins. Peter Beckhart, drill writer, he's performed with the Blue Devils and RCC Indoor. He has also worked with many high schools, including Leander High School in Texas, Ayala High School in California, and James Martin High School in Texas. Edward Morris, he's a sound consultant and coordinator for the Mandarins. Jasper Saldana, front ensemble manager. Jonathan Wicks, he is the percussion manager. He marched Yamato Drum and Bugle Corps, Pacific Crest, Pulse Percussion as well. He teaches many Southern California high school programs. Tim Snyder, brass caption manager for the Mandarins. He's worked with the Troopers, Oregon Crusaders, Carolina Crown, the Madison Scouts. And he also founded Box 5 Media, which is a media source that it kind of does what Flow Marching does, but on a little bit of a minimal basis. They broadcast UIL in Texas, the championships every year there for marching band, also some other indoor shows and some other marching band circuit shows. And finally, Joseph Hayes, visual caption manager for the Mandarins. He teaches many marching arts groups in Southern California. He's done that since 2008, and he marched the Academy back in 2011. So before the season starts, of course, as all corps do, the Mandarins have to have a preseason where they have spring training and family days and all that. So here's their schedule, starting off May 24th with the first week of spring training in Sacramento, moving to Angels Camp, California on June 1st, then June 7th through the 20th, they'll be at Edward Harris Jr. Middle School in Elk Grove, California. And then they'll, right in the middle of there, June 15th, they'll have their family day at Monterey Trail High School in Sacramento. So that's how the Mandarins will start off their season before they even perform any shows. So, the Mandarins, 2019 production. It is entitled Subterra. This show is very interesting in the theme behind it. And if you've listened to the Field Pass podcast by DCI's Dan Potter, it is somewhat interesting in what Lee Carlson, the DCI artistic director, says about this show and what the theme behind it is. And I'm trying to pull it up here. It's just so, I don't even know what the word is, like, odd. The show is really about a underground city. The show is about an underground city that was discovered in 1963 by a man doing reconstruction on his home in Turkey, and he found incredible formations in the ground. He discovered tunnels and rooms that were made of sandstone. And what the Mandarins, so you might say, what are they going to do? What's that have anything to do with anything? The Mandarins show design is about, like, they're taking the culture from the people underground. Like, they're thinking, what would that culture have been like in an underground city above or below where human life is happening? Another part to this is how that culture or how that community progresses, and also how, like, what happens if the people underground found out that there were people above ground, and vice versa. The people above ground find out there's people underground. What's the reaction between both sides? And that like, I'm not making any of this up. This is what Lee Carlson said. And also, the other part to this is that this is a very theatrical performance, as we've seen from the Mandarins in 2017 and again in 2018. The set is huge. That's what Carlson said. The set is huge. There's brick road props, and there's also, like, concepts of the rooms that would have been discovered in this ancient civilization, and also ancient pillars around. And the costuming is dark and mysterious, which really we've come to expect from the Mandarins. So really, why do I say all that? Because that is really the most comprehensive look at a show I've really seen in a few years. Just like, it's like, I have no idea what this show about, but now I do. And I think we'll all kind of come to realize what they're trying to provide by the end of the year, but it'll definitely take a few times of watching it and maybe doing a little bit of research of the show. So, the repertoire for the Subterra show, it is listed here. You've got On the Shoulders of Giants, That is a piece that both the Mandarins and also the Boston Crusaders are doing this season. Rain in Your Black Eyes by Ezio Basso, Run Boy Run, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Cavaliers used that piece in 2015. I believe I'm not mistaken to say that. And also, the show features original compositions by Keith Pullen and Ike Jackson, two members of the aforementioned design team. I'm going to use one more quote here, and that is in the Flow Marching original reveal of the Mandarin show in the first few days of May. Show designer I'm quoting directly from the article, Mario Ramirez finished his description of the show with, quote, Subterra is our most theatrical and poetic production yet. It is visually enchanting and a roller coaster of emotions that will captivate all of its audiences. So, really, if you don't have that background knowledge of the 1963 underground town thing, I think you'll still somewhat be able to get this. So thank you for watching this season preview. Just a few things. Make sure to visit my website, drumcorpscentral.weebly.com, for all the latest updates from the DCI and DCA summer tours. Scores, schedules, leaderboards, and more can all be found at my own personal website about all things drum corps. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DrumCorpsGeek, and subscribe to my YouTube channel where this podcast and more will be posted, the Show Day podcast. And one more thing, if you have any questions or comments, or maybe you have an inside look at what the Mandarins are bringing to the field this year, make sure to leave any of that in the comment section. If it's a question or anything, I'll make sure to reply back as soon as possible. So thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.